Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So, I've been walking in the mornings, and in the mornings I'll drop a video while I'm walking, right? But I'm in the office now, so I'm doing it properly. But let's continue with this Eddie Hearn thing. So Conor McGregor, right? He tests positive for this substance that a lot of women use to boost fertility, and a lot of people who take this is because they're trying to have twins. Okay, but it also boosts their testosterone. Now, they're still not sure why in the world Connor Benn had this in his system. And Eddie Hearn is saying he's going to wait and let Connor, I want to say Connor McGregor, right? He's going to let Connor Benn get in front of the microphone, in front of the cameras, and explain himself on how that ended up in his system, okay? Now, we know that it's tough on these athletes, but at the end of the day, it's their responsibility. But it's not easy. Now, you can know when someone is being malicious and when something just happens to happen, In this case, I just don't think Connor Benn was being malicious. And this isn't the kind of drug that I'm understanding now that's going to enhance his performance, but it will boost testosterone. But this is the thing, right? We're all here thinking that the positive result of whether it was blood or urine, right, of the sample that was taken, right, we're here today thinking this just came out. Everyone's just now being made aware of this. And what's so alarming about it and disheartening about it is that Eddie Hearn knew 30 days ago. That's crazy. Now, there's some rumors that, at the same time Eddie Hearn learned of it, Chris Eubank Jr. learned of it. And they're saying that there was some discussions that took place. The Eubank Jr. and Connor Benn talked, and they both had no issue with the bout going forward. Now, that to me is horrible. Now, some people are saying Eddie Hearn knew, but he didn't say anything. That Eubank Jr. side wasn't aware. That just doesn't sound right. Okay, but nevertheless, doesn't matter if the Team Benn and Team Eubank knew about this positive test or not. My concern is, damn Eddie Hearn, you got the whole public out here spending all this money on an event. He's spending all this money on an event, and you know your man tested positive. And this is the thing. If this wouldn't have become an issue a few days before the fight, right, where we're at currently, none of us would have ever known that Connor Benn had a positive sample for some banned substance. Now, for those of you who are, screaming at your computer screen right now, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question right now, okay? Now, we're going to peel this back even more. I am fully aware that you have UCAD, which is the United Kingdom Anti-Doping Agency, right? Then you have VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency here in the United States, right? Now, when it comes to British boxing, the only thing that matters when it comes to positive tests and samples are the substances that are listed under UCAD. It doesn't matter what's listed under VADA, whatever they pop hot for based on VADA rules and regulations and banned substances, it doesn't matter. You guys understand? So if you're a British boxer, you're fighting in Britain, the only agency that has any say is UCAD. VADA means nothing. So these guys volunteer to take those tests in Nevada. That's fine, but it doesn't hold up when it comes to UCAD. Okay. Now my understanding is with this substance, it's tested as it's a banned substance under VADA. So Eddie Hearn, the way he explained it, is that it was no issue with the fight going forward because they're the only agency that has any say-so, and the British Board of, I keep wanting to say the British Board of Drugs and something, but anyways, the British Board of something. It's not corrections, but anyway, they were aware of it too. So my understanding is they weren't going to ban Connor Benn because they can't, based on UCAD and this protocol and this policies. So since they couldn't ban him, he's not being sidelined from boxing. The fight should have been a go. It was a green light. It's Eddie Hearn's assumption. Then they come now because obviously under some pressure from VADA and from other agencies and the boxing community as a whole, knowing that they're about to allow a fight to take place with someone who has this substance in his body that could give him an advantage. In addition, they know that Eubank Jr. is coming in there, and everybody keeps saying he's going to be weight drained. You know, and this is where promoting a fight, marketing a fight, comes back to bite you. Eddie Hearn did such a good job convincing people that Eubank Jr. was reducing his weight to possibly a very health, to where he was jeopardizing his health, and it was a health risk, right? He convinced everyone, oh, this could be a health risk for Eubank Jr. It's such a dangerous fight. He's never been to that weight ever in his boxing career, and you got a powerful, strong, Connor Benn was coming up in weight, right? Making it seem like it was going to be impossible for Eubank Jr. to win, and what happens when he gets hit. Now this crap comes out about Connor Benn being on some performance, some testosterone boosting drug. You can't come and backpedal now and say, we should let the fight go on. It's really not that big of a deal if he has a little bit of extra testosterone, because really it was all smoke and mirrors about Eubank Jr. and his weight. He should be just fine. That's not how that works. So that came back to bite Eddie Hearn, because that was something else that was addressed today. So when you look at it, I don't know what you all's opinion is on this whole thing with Eubank Jr., Connor Benn, Eddie Hearn. I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. Boxing is corrupt. I love boxing. And I'll never sit here and bad talk the sport, right? But this right here, man, could you imagine, right? How many things, pass underneath our noses that where a fight probably shouldn't be sanctioned, shouldn't be allowed. Now, I'm not saying Connor Benn is going to have some great advantage in the fight with this in his system. Supposedly his samples are coming back clean, right? What I'm saying is Eddie Hearn just really put himself in a horrible position because he knew that his man tested positive for a banned substance. And he wasn't going to say nothing. He was going to make sure none of his fighters said nothing, make sure none of his team said anything. Eubank's team said nothing. They just have the fight. If Connor Benn won and knocked him out, nobody would have ever known that Connor Benn had this banned substance in his system. Doesn't matter if we're talking about UCAD or VADA. The fact is there was a banned substance in the system. A lot of fighters have these substances in the system that are banned under VADA. And Eddie Hearn has gone out and said all kind of crazy things about him. Okay? But when it happens to his guy, Eddie Hearn's more like, oh, well, we follow UCAD. VADA doesn't matter. We follow UCAD. You see? And that's because Eddie Hearn's a good talker. He's a good promoter. but he also knows he's backed himself in a corner to where now people are looking at him. I mean, how can hard to trust someone like that? I'm going to give you an example of something, right? This is a true story. True story. And this is going to tie into what I'm saying about a guy like Eddie Hearn. I used to work with a guy, right? And we were, there was time for awards. We'd have like monthly award, quarterly awards, and annual awards, right? It was time for quarterly awards. And I had some subordinates. And several of them wanted to submit a quarterly awards package to me. Now, I'm only pushing one awards package up, right? So I said, look, you guys, if you think you're qualified and you deserve to be nominated, okay? Give me, each of you write your own package. I'll determine which one is the best, and then I'll take it, I'll tweak it, and then I'll submit it, okay? But that way I don't have to pick one. You guys will all sit down, we'll discuss it, try to build consensus, and push up one package. So I don't look like I'm being biased to anyone, I'm being unfair. So they did that, okay? Gave me the three, it was three of them, gave me the three packages, I looked at them all. I said, okay, this is the one I think, what do you think? They discussed it, we all agreed. I pushed that one package up. When I pushed the package up to the guy who was, to my supervisor, right? He got the package. He saw the name of the person on the package. Tell you what this fool said. He was like, hey, what about so-and-so? Right? There was someone else who he wanted to get submitted. And I said, yeah, this is what I did. I explained. Three of them gave me a package. We all sat down and picked the best one. And he was like, man, I was really hoping to see her name come across. I was like, well, what you want me to do, man? You know what I'm saying? I said, I got to be fair. He said, what you should have done is not told them anything and just let all three of them submit the packages. He's like, then I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just took the two out I didn't want and shred them and then let everything go up to the board. And once they make a decision on the winner, it would just made it look like they lost. Even though he would have never submitted their package. He's like, yeah, you just don't say nothing. He's like, they'll never know. And I just thought that was the grimiest shit I had ever heard or seen from someone in a leadership position. And after that, I said, lesson learned on my part. Because I was kind of green. I'm out here, integrity out of this world. I would never do anything like that. And then I said, this is the shit they're doing. I almost started cussing. I don't want to cuss on here. I promised myself I wouldn't, cuss in these videos. But that's how upset that got me. So the reason I brought that to your attention is this guy who I was working with was kind of the same thing with Eddie Hearn. Okay, we kind of know we got a situation here. They'll never know unless we say something. Let's just see how it plays out. And what Eddie Hearn's doing is the same damn thing. Same damn thing. And if he'll do it in this instance, right? How many other instances has he done something similar to this? Whether it deals with a failed drug test, whether it deals with money, whether it deals with tickets, whether it deals with anything, right? How can you, now I get it. A salesman is a salesman. He's a promoter, he's a salesman. They're going to try to sell things to you. That's their job, to damn lie to you, right? But going forward, right, how can Eddie Hearn recover from this? Boy, oh boy, I need to get on Twitter and see what Leonard Ellaby has to say. Because I am sure Leonard Ellaby has something to say. But I wanted to break that down to you guys. Because, hell, 30 days ago, you're just going to sit there and hope that the fight happens because he popped hot under VADA and not under UCAD. And since he didn't pop under UCAD, which is the agency that has any jurisdiction or any say over the fights in the UK, you're not going to worry about it. Like, that is crazy. That's like having a child in his senior year, right? He's there for 6 months in a school, all Fs, all Fs, right? And then he transformed to another school, and then he goes on and he's doing pretty good in school. But at the end of the year, when they're looking at GPA and how they performed and graduating, you don't want them to consider that first 6 months where he was just not performing to his potential, and you're saying, well, we're not in that school really. It doesn't really have much say because we're at this new school now, and this is the jurisdiction we're in, and this is where he's going to be graduating from this class here. So let's not even worry about what happened over here. That over there is over there. This is what matters because they have say really over whether he graduates. Let's not even take into consideration any of that. You know what? You got to take into consideration the poor performance before the individual came to this new school. You got to look at it. And then you got to make a decision. You can't just totally, ignore that. And that's the same thing here. You got VADA and UCAT. You can't just totally ignore it. Because what's going to happen is this guy goes to graduate now, and then these guys, networking is something else, man, and it's a small world. They come and see that these people are just trying to push people through the system. They make it an issue. Something hits the superintendent. Things start coming down. Find out that, hey, this guy really shouldn't be graduating. Look at first 6 months of all Fs. How are you justifying this? Because you got to retake them courses, man. But you're just going to push him through because he had this epiphany, decided to do great, and got straight A's now. That's just not how that works. So, and GPA is not going to be 4.0s if he failed the first 6 months. So it's just not how it's going to work. So in a case like this is kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? You got to have the background. But at the end of the day, we're going to see what happens. I know the lawyers are involved now. They're trying to sort this out. Eubank Jr., I think there's a gag order in place. He's very particular on what he's saying. Can't blame him. But he's very, very particular on what he's saying. But going forward, we'll see what happens. Very, very, very unfortunate. If he tests if he would have found out today that, okay, this is where it came out, this substance, I personally, as a boxing fan, can handle that a lot better than watching Eddie Hearn do all these interviews and for him to know 30 days ago that Connor Benn tested positive. Like, that is just horrible, man. But anyway, leave your comments below and let me know what you think, man. I really want to hear from you guys on this one. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I appreciate the support. Let's get this thing bubbling up to over 1,000 at 903. Just got a few more to go, and then we're in business. But that being said, y'all keep cool. And as always, I'm in the breeze.